Sports bettors, you need to download Sharps, the better social network. With Sharps mobile app, you can tailor your friends' bets with one click. See a bet you like? Just click the whale tail icon and boom, it will open in your corresponding sportsbook. Sharps securely connects to major sportsbooks like FanDuel, MGM, Caesars, and more, so you can not only track your bets, but share your bets in creative ways. So gather the degens, download Sharps for free, and join our fast-growing sports betting community.
And Bonds hits one high. Hits it deep. It is out of here. 7:56. Bonds stands alone. Now Booker with Tucker on him. Throws it up for 8. Shot blocked by Antetokounmpo. What a block from Giannis.
17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead.
Minute remaining, and they're putting Curry in the pick and roll, trying to get him on Irving. Irving and Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown.
We're sending it in, Jerome. That's for damn sure.
Yes. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Taproom Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Jordan. Stacks on stacks, lads. Joined with my man back from the ice land, the land of ice, Iceland, AK. Aaron Kidd, welcome back, brother. Welcome. Stoked to have you back, man.
Jordan, I'm glad to be back, man, and excited to talk about maybe a little basis first and hopefully find some college football winners. So Iceland was fun, man. And I created a monster a long time ago with my wife, and we always take a trip for her birthday. Last year was Paris. The year before that was Bahamas. And this year was Iceland. So here we are, man. But I'm done with trips. I'm done with traveling. I am football and basketball for the next 6 months. So let's go.
Oh, man. I was last night I was researching college basketball, and I was just like, oh, I'm so ready for college basketball to start, dude. I'm over a lot of this other shit. But AK, you hit the nail on the head. We gotta talk some baseball before we hop into this show. Specifically this dog shit team up north in our neighboring country in Toronto, Canada. 4-game series get swept, and not only swept, they get absolutely fucking dog walked in this series versus Texas. And this series was massive for both these teams. Basically, the team that won this series is going to make the playoffs. The team that loses, likely out. It's going to be a long shot for Toronto to get back in here now. But the biggest thing that I was noticing, and you and I talked about this last night, texting back and forth, is that this Toronto team just has no fucking fight, dude. Like, they just give up. They roll over like fucking puppies, dude. Team fucking sucks. They got overrated Vlad Guerrero Jr. It's 48 home runs in 2021. He's not even going to hit 48 home runs. He hasn't hit 48 home runs combined the last 2 years. Bozo Bichette, bases loaded tonight, 2 outs. Nathan Eovaldi walks 3 people. He comes up and swings at every pitch, fucking strikes out. I mean, this team is it's not a good baseball team. And Buck Martinez, who's the color analyst for the Blue Jays, last night, I mean, for 3 innings, Buck Martinez was just laying into the Blue Jays, just saying, this is not a playoff team. We can't beat good teams. Our record is what we are. We're not a good team, and we're not a playoff team. And it was refreshing because you don't hear color analysts that cover teams talk like that about their teams. Buck Martinez is Hall of Famer, so maybe he has a little leeway. But what's your thoughts on the Blue Jays, AK?
Well, first and foremost, thank goodness we finally got there on our biggest bet of the offseason in baseball, which was Arizona Diamondbacks, 75.5 wins. I was glad to hit that. Interesting thing about that is FanDuel actually paid it out already. Some offshore books that we have it at, will pay at the end of the season, which is fine, but glad to hit that. But another team I was high on coming into the season was the Toronto Blue Jays. I have them to win the AL East. I had them to win the American League, and I had them to win the World Series. So, it just seems like to me, you kind of summed it up, but they beat the bad teams. The Blue Jays, they beat the bad teams and they can't beat the good teams. It is very cut and dry. And if this doesn't sum up the Blue Jays season, last night, they go down 4-0, and we knew it was over. But okay, it's the Blue Jays. They came in supposed to have one of the most best offenses, in the major league coming into the season. Is what we all thought. Probably we thought one of the best 1-9s maybe in the league. And so they come up. We go up 3-1 in the count. Swing at a pitch outside the zone, foul it off, out, number one. We go up 2-1 in the count. A ball outside the zone again, we swing at, ground it out. And then Bo Bichette gets up there, takes 3-1, swings at the next pitch, and pops it out. So 3 potential competitive at-bats that could have led to walks, we're just fouling off and grounding out. So we're just kind of over it, and then after that, they just got up there and just swung at the first pitch. And that's been my problem with them. Last year, my problem with the Blue Jays was they couldn't hit with runners in scoring position. Now they just can't hit at all now.
Yeah. Vlad hit that 2-run home run today, and I was like, okay, maybe they got some life. Maybe they got some juice under them. And then the very next inning, fucking Gausman gives the lead right back. And
Gausman has regressed, which we knew that was going to happen, but I don't think to the extent that it has happened.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, Manoah, obviously, he was a Cy Young candidate last year. He's got issues with the team now, and I don't know, maybe there's something going on in that clubhouse, dude, because, like, this team has no fight, and, like, look at the Cleveland Guardians, for example. Like, they're out of the playoff race, but they still fight every fucking game, dude. Like, they still play. The Royals, they're long out of it. They're still fighting every day. The Blue Jays are in the thick of a playoff race. They get down 4-0, they just give up. Game's over. Like
I knew, and this is how good I know the Blue Jays, because I've watched them so much this year. Well, and last year for that matter. But when we went the first 3 innings yesterday, and you guys in our group text were kind of messing with me, and we're laughing a little bit and saying, why are you sweating, man? It's 0-0. I said, nope. We just made it through, and we didn't get a run. I knew it.
Yep.
I think it was the 3rd inning yesterday. We get a leadoff single. I'm like, okay, here we go. And then we have the most 3 least competitive at-bats ever in the world. The fact that Jordan Montgomery yesterday made it through 6 innings
7
and hadn't thrown 60 pitches yet.
Yeah,
he was at 59 pitches through 6 innings. That is absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, the A's made him look like shit, like 3 games before, 3 or 2 starts before. The dude hadn't looked good in like 3 starts. And then last night he looks phenomenal, dude. And I'm speechless about this team. I don't know what they do this offseason. I messaged Andrew earlier. He hasn't got back to me because he's probably fucking down to 5th of vodka by now. Or whatever they drink out there in Canada. But I was like, bro, like, where do the Blue Jays go from here, dude? Because there's no way you can run this back. Like, this is at this point, 2021 was supposed to be like the liftoff year. Remember, they didn't make the playoffs. They didn't make the playoffs. 2021, they were like right there in the thick of things though. So 2022, we're like, all right, this is the year, dude. Like, they're gonna bounce back. Vlad Guerrero Jr. generational talent, Bozo Bichette, George Springer. George Springer got hurt last year, and like he's never looked the same since that shoulder injury. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt in that case. But like, we gave Vlad the benefit of the doubt last year with the wrist injury, right? And then this year he looks fucking even worse than last year. So it's like, what's the excuse this year now? Like, at this point, maybe he is just who he is. Maybe we overrated him based off that 2021 season, and this is who Vlad Guerrero Jr. actually is. So I mean, if I'm the Blue Jays, dude, in the offseason, you got Gausman on the hook for a long time. Manoah probably gets traded in the offseason for fucking pennies on the dollar because he's obviously going to be a distraction at this point. If he's arguing with the fucking executives and shit. AK, like, where do they go, dude? What do they do?
Man, I will definitely say the Diamondbacks looking like they're coming out on the winning side of that trade,
Oh,
right?
by
You know,
far. The Blue Jays put
and so
all
that
their
was
fucking
something.
they put all their things in with Christian Kirk. You know, he had a career year last year, all-star, hit over 300. They were like, "Okay, we'll trade Moreno." Fucking Kirk hasn't looked nowhere near the same this year.
Marino's so good. I was looking at some stats earlier on the Diamondbacks. So glad to have hit that and just not really sweating that anymore because the Diamondbacks probably aren't going to make the playoffs.
Yep.
They haven't looked good either the last couple of days, but they have like almost 600 winning percentage with Moreno in the lineup, under 300 winning percentage with Moreno not in the lineup.
Yeah, when they went on that skid, he was out. He was hurt.
You're exactly right. And Gurriel's hit the ball well this year. You know, I'd be interested. The big thing with the Diamondbacks is going to be who are they going to sign? Is it Tommy Pham or Gurriel? You know, you got a lot younger guy in Lourdes. You know, but Tommy Pham, man, he talk about a burst of energy. He really came and helped the Diamondbacks get back on track this year. So, but anyways, like I said, Diamondbacks definitely came out ahead on that trade. Dalton Varsho, he hasn't worked out. You know, Bo Bichette, yeah, I just think Bo Bichette is who he is. He's a guy that gets on base, hits, but like you said, he can have some bozo at bats too. It's like that Blue Jays team gets up there and they act like they're in a fucking home run derby every time, and it's just the first fastball they can get, whether they're up 3-0 in the count and they get a fastball across the plate, they're just going to try to yak at it, right?
Yep.
And it's been frustrating, man. I'm very surprised that Blue Jays team is in the position where they're at right now.
Yep. Richie and I, we gave Bo Bichette the nickname last year, Bozo Bichette. So we just always ran with it. Dude is he's just a free swinger, dude. And like today, dude, he could have probably walked or run home, and instead he just started swinging at pitches out of the zone, man. But it's unfortunate. You know, both of us have tickets on the Blue Jays, and we could probably start a bonfire with those now. Those are cooked.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have hope with the Twins ticket. So
Well, and here's the thing about the Blue Jays. They kind of they kind of hit me both ways because not only the Blue Jays losing has hurt my tickets on them, with the Rangers winning and sweeping the series, it's hurt my Mariners futures now too.
yeah,
Because I always have Mariners futures, futures. So that's kind of hurt that as well. So I've kind of been getting screwed both ways and didn't even get a kiss. So
Mariners went on that fucking hot streak, and then they just cooled all the way down.
yep.
Oh, that's how baseball goes, though,
But
man. Look at the Orioles.
but
The
I will
Orioles
say,
fucking,
man, and I'll get off the baseball kick. I will say that if the Mariners do get in the playoffs, whether it be a wild card or however they get in there, that's a team I wouldn't want to play in the wild card.
yeah,
With their pitching and they'll figure it out on offense. That's a team that can win some games in the playoffs.
100% agree. That's how I feel about the Twins too. Like the Twins, I told you yesterday. I was like, since the All-Star break, when Royce Lewis and Max Kepler in the lineup, second best WRC plus behind only the Atlanta Braves. And they got Pablo Lopez and Sonny Gray and a formidable pitching staff. And Johan Duran, by default, is the best reliever in baseball because Felix Bautista is hurt, not playing. So they got a good squad, man. It's the only thing that can get in their way is Rocco Baldelli, their manager. He makes some fucking stupid decisions, bro. Yesterday, I don't know if you watched that game yesterday. In the ninth inning, he throws Gavin Jacks out there, even though Johan Duran was available, only pitched 8 pitches the night before. Gavin Jacks gives up a fucking hanging dinger to fucking Rosarina. They go down 5-4. And then with a runner on second, 2 outs, he pinch hits fucking Christian Vasquez for Edouard Julian, who's their leadoff hitter, and a much better hitter than Christian Vasquez. Christian Vasquez sucks. What does Christian Vasquez do, AK? 3 straight pitches, 3 straight swing and misses. Game over. So as long as Rocco Baldelli don't get in the way, that Twins team I think has a good shot. And I know Zeno was on the Twitter machine today talking about the Braves are going to run over everybody. That's not how baseball works. They are the best team for sure, but I've seen the best team not win a World Series plenty of times.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's just how
Memphis
baseball
just
goes.
Memphis just busted off like a 80-yard run down to the 2-yard line. And if anybody follows this show at all, that that I took Memphis one of my biggest future. Actually, it's my second biggest futures bet. Over 7.5 wins. So winning tonight is a crucial bet. Crucial spot to get to the 8 wins that we need to cash that ticket. So
What's the score
go
on that
Memphis
game?
Tigers. 28-24 Memphis, but they're at the first and goal at the 2.
Ooh. Well, Navy's going to cover. Probably. Should probably cover.
Yep.
You never know with college football. You never know who's going to cover until the final whistle is blown. Shout out Texas Tech for that one. All right, let's talk some college football. So through the first 3 weeks, if we're counting week 0, what are some surprises to you, AK, and what are some like negative and positive surprises?
Well, I guess I would start first, man. I'm so glad that I talked myself off the Texas Tech train, right? Because I was really looking to play them over 7.5 wins. Not to bring up any bad beats from last weekend, but I would have really been mad had I lost that bet. And then also like just know that really just puts a really, really tough path in front of me to get to 8 wins with Texas Tech. So
Yep.
you know, them underachieving has surprised me some. I'll be the first one to admit I was wrong about Boston College. You know, that's my first future that I'm ready to just burn, shred it up and burn. So I was wrong about them, and I'll take that one on the chin. And the other thing is, man, I'm surprised about Texas. We talked all off season about Sarkisian, and he doesn't win the big game. And what they went in there and did to Alabama the other night is pretty impressive. I've got to admit. So
Very impressive.
those are kind of some surprises. But I was definitely very surprised by Texas.
Yeah. Texas, that win definitely surprised me. We talked about it last week, and I was like, it just feels like a game where fucking Nick Saban just just puts the pedal to the metal. But dude, one thing I gotta say, AK, and like this is going back to last year, is like Alabama, they usually don't like beat themselves, right? But like the last 2 years, I feel like they do that a lot. Like a lot of boneheaded penalties, just not very like buttoned up like Nick Saban teams usually are. And I feel like, I don't know if this is like Nick Saban just getting old or maybe getting out of touch or what it is, but like it feels like he's kind of losing the grips or the reins of like who he once was, and maybe it's a level playing field. I don't know what the answer is, but it doesn't. Last 2 years, remember last year they were like the heavy favorites to win the national title, and they didn't. And a lot of it was because they just a lot of boneheaded plays, dude. They cost themselves a lot of times. I felt like we kind of saw a lot of that on Saturday night too.
No, I agree, man, and maybe we were wrong about Texas. Maybe Sarkisian's figured it out. I tell you what, Quinn Ewers looks like he's the truth.
That's the thing about Quinn Ewers, though. He has games where he looks great, and then he has games where he looks fucking putrid. I'm telling you, bro, Texas is gonna have a game or two this year where they're like 15, 16, like 20-point favorites, and they're gonna lose the game outright. It's gonna happen.
Yep.
That's what Texas does. That's what Sarkisian does.
Oh my gosh. Memphis had first and goal at the 2-yard line, and the running back's going in to score, and he fumbles the ball like Justin Jefferson did in the Vikings game, and Navy got the ball.
No way.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Bro, how that Jefferson fumble just devastating for us over bettors tonight. And then the Eagles were just in the fucking red zone, and I don't know if you're watching the game, but AJ Brown, he got the defender tackled him before the ball even got there, and they didn't even throw a PI flag.
Yeah, and actually on that same play, they called an offensive holding call on the running back.
Unbelievable, dude. Unfucking believable. The officiating is just, it's comical in these football games. All right, as far as the surprises for me, I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna say I was wrong about Colorado. They're a lot better than I anticipate. Well, let me preface this a little bit. First of all, I think TCU isn't as good as we thought they were, and Jeff Sims certainly isn't what I thought he could be. Elite athlete, watched him at Georgia Tech. Figured if he got around better players, better talent, he'd look a lot better. Bro, that dude cannot fucking hang on to the football to save his fucking life or make any good decisions. Like he's a bozo, dude. Like just not a good football player, not a good quarterback. Elite athlete, just not a good quarterback. So I am very interested to see how Colorado does against Oregon. I think that's going to really tell us like how good they are. I think that offense is great. I think the defense has a lot of issues. But we'll see. But nonetheless, they've looked a lot better than I anticipated. When we talked on the preview show, I did say I wouldn't bet the over-under on their win total because I didn't know what they would be. And I think they're kind of somewhere in the middle where I'm not sure if they're a great team, but they're obviously not a bad team. So we'll see once they...
I was wrong, too, about that one. I same here, Jordan. I was wrong. I may not have been on the train that everyone just thought they were going to be terrible. You know, all these guys on Twitter are like, oh, my God, I'm slamming the under, and they're going to win 2 games. And I never thought that.
Yeah.
It's Dion. His son is – we knew he was the truth, but that Hunter kid, there's a reason why he was the number 1 recruit out of college.
Yep.
And he's playing both sides of the ball, man. So I am more than impressed with him. Yep. Now, can you sustain that over a 13 or 14 game season?
That's gonna
maybe not.
That's gonna be what we got to see.
Yep.
So we'll see with that, and then also, what was the other? Boston College too. Definitely, that was a fucking terrible fucking read. Jeff Hafley, like he's got to go, dude. He's a terrible fucking coach at this point. And yeah, that's kind of like the 2 teams.
Memphis got the ball back. They stripped the ball. Let's go.
This dude's sweating on Memphis and Navy, dude. Oh man. But yeah, there's a lot of things. I think we're really gonna start to learn about a lot of these teams coming up because a lot of these teams have like tough schedules coming up. Definitely don't think Alabama was as good as they were. I don't think LSU is as good as we anticipated. So like that SEC West is like wide open, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens there. Ole Miss might be able to slide in there and make some noise in there. Gonna be interesting. All right, let's move into these games for this week, AK. First one we're going to talk about is Illinois and Penn State. Let me pull my lines up. Should have
14.5, Jordan, most places.
Is it 14.5? Sorry, I had my page and now I got to reload it. We're Penn State, Illinois, 15, AK I'm seeing.
Oh, it's a 15 now, okay.
A lot of 15s. What's your thoughts on this game here?
I mean, the line move basically sums it up. You know, Illinois has not been able to stop anybody. Nope. You know, on this show, on our Big 12 preview, me and CT formulated a team ticket together and hit Kansas over 5.5. You know, on this show, basically, we hadn't talked about it before, and we kind of talked ourselves into it. You know, with Jalen Daniels and stuff, and you saw what they did to Illinois' defense last week. You saw what Toledo did to Illinois' defense last week. Illinois can't stop anybody, man. But here's the problem, and this is why I'm not in a rush to back Penn State. One, I don't like laying that many points on the road anyways. But Penn State's got Iowa Hawkeyes next week. Yep. So you got to think it's in the back of their head, but I just can't trust this Illinois defense at all right now.
See, I think on the flip side, like I think betting against Iowa this week is beneficial in that aspect, although they're playing Western Michigan, who like couldn't even move the ball against Syracuse, so that's an issue. But I think Iowa could be in a look-ahead spot. The thing with Penn State here is like James Franklin, like we talk a lot of shit about Sark and Sark losing games he should win. Dude, James Franklin's like the king of that shit. Like, dude, they lost to Illinois in 2021 in Champaign, and they were the 7th-ranked team in the country. So now they're kind of in the same position here where, like, Illinois in 2021, like, they had nothing to play for. They have, like, no one expected them to even cover or win the game. I feel like they're kind of in the same position here in this game. It's kind of comical. Penn State, they have a 12% success rate against, dude. Meaning that their defense is literally shutting fucking teams down, although they have played West Virginia and Delaware. So now we're really going to kind of see where they're at. So with that being said, like, I wouldn't play Illinois here plus the points, but I definitely wouldn't lay the points here with
Mm-mm.
Penn State. If you put a gun to my head and I had to make a play, it would be Illinois plus 15. And again, I'm not running to the window to fucking place that ticket because of what you said. Illinois has not been good on defense. They have a 49% against success rate. So, I mean, almost half the plays that are run against them are successful over 5.5 yards. So, whew, this is a tough one, man. Brett Bielema, we talked about it in the preview show, man. We knew Illinois was going to regress. Their quarterbacks, their offense sucks, dude. Their offense has a fucking 34% success rate. So, I mean, they're not moving the ball against anyone. And we're going to talk about a team later on in this show who they beat in week 1, which kind of concerns me. Like, how the fuck did Toledo not win that game, dude?
Yep.
But we'll move on to that. But yeah, as far as Illinois, Penn State, I lean Illinois. No official play for me, though, here. All right, let's move on to a game that I know you like this weekend, and that's Western Kentucky and Ohio State, currently at 29 AK.
29.5 right now, Jordan.
29.5. What's your thoughts on this game?
Man, I have a lot of thoughts on this game, actually. I was on the Fade You podcast before hopping on here with you, and I talked a lot about this game and a lot of depth. First off, it's kind of obvious. I don't mean to state the obvious, but Ohio State seems like they've taken a step back, right? CJ Stroud not being there. Their offense doesn't look like the same offense as last year, but also they're kind of in a look ahead spot. They got Notre Dame next week. They got to go on the road to Notre Dame. I promise you, Western Kentucky cares a whole lot more about Ohio State than Ohio State cares about Western Kentucky, knowing they got to go to South Bend next week, right?
Yep.
Ohio State hasn't covered any of their games against Indiana or Youngstown State for that matter. And Youngstown State certainly isn't an FCS juggernaut like they used to be 20 years ago anymore. They didn't look impressive. Western Kentucky is really going to spread them out 4 or 5 wide. They're going to do a lot of motion. They're going to let Reed throw the ball all over the yard. And so much so that Jim Knowles, who's the Ohio State defensive coordinator, has said multiple times this week, we are in for a test. We're in for a dogfight. And for an Ohio State team to know what they're getting in Western Kentucky, I think the pressure is more on Ohio State, to be honest. I'm not saying Western Kentucky is going to come in here and beat Ohio State by any means, but you give me 4 touchdowns with Austin Reed, who was a lot of Power 5 schools wanted him. We talked about it in depth on our preview show.
Yep.
Here's a few interesting things about Ohio State. Ohio State converting only over 25% of their third downs. They can't convert on third. They went 2 of 12 on third downs against Indiana. They've had 15 accepted penalties already between Youngstown State and Indiana. It shows a little undisciplined to me, and that's why they're not finishing in the red zone either. Another problem they're having on offense. So I will gladly take Austin Reed with a 29.5 point start over Ohio State. I can easily see this being another one of those San Jose State USC games, 49-28 or something like that. And even if I'm on the wrong side of this play, I think Ohio State, if they're up by a lot, I think they will let off the pedal in the fourth quarter to not show too many things for Notre Dame next week, Jordan. So even if I'm on the completely wrong side, the back door is always open in a play like this.
Back door is always open, especially now where we're seeing like 3 less possessions per team. So I think 29, I think anything over 4 touchdowns is you're asking a team a lot to cover. And USC covered last week against Stanford. They were 30-point favorites, but I mean, dude, they put up 42 points in the first half, and then they sat their fucking starters in the second half. You know what I mean? You're asking teams to score rapidly, right, to cover this number, because that moving clock is it's changing a lot of stuff this year, and I don't think people actually understand how many possessions and stuff is being lost. So I'm actually with you. I like your angle too with the Notre Dame game too. I'm kind of with you. I might play this, to be honest, now that I'm looking at it. Offensively, Ohio State just not very impressive the first couple weeks.
Nope, 2-12 on third down against Indiana. I think it was 5 of 12 or 5 of 14 against Youngstown State, only converting about 29 or 28%. And the penalties really, that's something we forget in handicapping football, right? Especially in college, because the difference in a really good disciplined college football team is a lot different than a really good undisciplined college football team, right? And
Yeah.
I know that's kind of just cutting it, very cut and dry, but it is teams that are penalized a lot. Teams that can't convert on third down are two things that I look at when you're talking about covering a 29.5 point spread. Basically means Ohio State has to score almost every single possession they have the ball.
Yep. Here's another tidbit. Ohio State's 8-7 against the spread versus non-Power 5 foes since 2015.
There you go.
Actually, 8-8 now that they didn't cover against Youngstown State. That was before that game. So they and same thing could happen like with USC, right? They could go up big and then kind of take their foot off the gas, knowing they got Notre Dame next week. So that back door is definitely open. All right, let's move into the next game. This is going to be like probably the most talked about game this weekend. Probably the only time we're going to talk about Colorado State all year. Colorado State at Colorado. This is 23. It got bet up to 23.5. It's kind of coming back down to 23, even after Jay Norvell comes out and says, he doesn't talk to the media with his hat and sunglasses on because that's what his mother taught him. Oh man.
I get the intent. I do.
Yeah, I think he wants to put some spotlight on his team, knowing that everyone's going to be talking about Colorado and everyone's going to, all the talk is going to be on Colorado this week. I heard an interesting thing during the week from Mike Pritchard, former wide receiver from Colorado. He won a national championship with Colorado in the early 90s, played in the NFL as well. He's a Colorado alum, obviously, and he said, this game worries him because this is the kind of game where you have Oregon next week, and it's definitely a game where you're overlooking your opponent. You could be overlooking your opponent, and like Colorado State is obviously little brother to Colorado, so these kids that play for Colorado State, would like to play for Colorado, right? But they don't. So this could be one of those situations where they have motivation. Colorado State has motivation of their own to play well in this game. Colorado State just can't score, dude, and that's an issue going against Colorado.
And that's my problem with Colorado State. First and foremost, if I was looking to play this game, I would be looking at Colorado State side. But where I'm apprehensive about that is, Jordan, is what you said. Just this is funny because this is kind of similar. We talked about the Blue Jays. Let's go back to last year, right? Colorado State's offense was abysmal. It was painful to watch. Excruciating. Like if this Coke bottle was a knife, I would just kind of shove it through both of my eyes. And so it's kind of the same way this year, right? Now the quarterback switch, I actually think it may help Colorado State. He kind of the kid looked better at the end of that Washington State game. If you remember,
yep.
Washington State kind of pulled the pedal off a little bit on defense, and he kind of came in there, scored a couple touchdowns. Depending on the number you had, almost backdoor coverage there at the end. But I just don't know if I'm looking to get in front of this Colorado team. And that's my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm ready to crown them and they should be 24 points, favorites at home against anybody, because I will admit now the pressure is on them. They came out against TCU as big dogs. A lot of sharp guys were on Nebraska last week. So now they've exceeded expectations, very far past expectations. But now, guess what comes? Now expectations do come, and that's sometimes where we see the train fall off the track. So that Colorado State offense is just painful to watch, though, Jordan.
Yeah, it is, and that's why if this number was at like 24.5, I think I could get involved, but at 23, I want no part of it because 24 is like still it's a key number basically, right? 23, I'm just I'm not really. DeAndre Swift, get to the house, baby boy. Dang. So close. Oh, we're gonna hit the over though, unless some fluky shit happens, which has already happened in this game. So I'm not gonna count the chickens before they hatch. But Yeah, I'm with you, AK. Like I'm not really looking to get in front of this Colorado team in this spot. And after what Jay Norvell said, everybody's like, "Oh, Colorado's going to beat them by 50," and that could very well be the case. Could very well be the case. But I'm not laying 23.5 with Colorado, certainly, and I'm definitely not looking to take the points here. But because Colorado State's offense is so fucking atrocious. However, they have a player on their team that I fucking love, and I think it's going to be a great player on Sundays, and that's Torrey Horton, the wide receiver. If he just had anyone that could throw him the fucking ball, dude, like that kid makes plays. He's a playmaker, bro. So
Here's my other problem with that. Now that Jay Norvell's made those comments, I don't think that Dion will let off the pedal.
Nope.
I think he will. If he's got a chance to really step on your throat, on Jay Norvell's throat, I think he's going to apply some pressure.
Yep, I agree 100%, which is why I want no fucking part of this game, dude. I was on Nebraska last week. Jeff Sims, if I knew him and his family bet on Colorado, I would have taken Colorado too. Dude, I'm telling you, there's gonna be a 30 for 30 coming out saying that dude bet against his team, dude. How do you have 3 unforced turnovers, bro? Unforced. It's not like he fucking it's not like the defense made the turnovers. Like, nah, dude, he fumbled a snap. Oh my god, that dude, he sucks, bro. He's atrocious. And fucking Matt Rule's sitting there saying like he's still the quarterback. Like, bro, what are you doing, bro? How bad is the next guy if he's still your quarterback? DeAndre Swift touchdown. There's the over. Let's go. I
need Minnesota to drive down and score a touchdown and backdoor this thing for me.
Oh, the backdoor is wide open, dude. I told you you're lucky you got 6.5 because if you got 6, the push is there. If you got 5.5, which it closed at, you're basically screwed. Which is why getting good numbers is important. It's important. I was talking to AC Money earlier today, AK, and I asked him what his thoughts were on this game. And he said he played the under, and I said, AC Money, why would you play the under? The fucking Eagles secondary is banged up, and the fucking Vikings are just atrocious in the trenches.
Yep.
Boom. All right, we move. San Jose State, baby.
All right, Memphis.
They win?
Memphis just finished it out. Memphis stopped them on 4th down, I believe. They're going to measure.
What's the score in that game?
28-24. Notre Dame. Navy's got the ball at the 9-yard line.
What was the total in that game? Was it 52?
I think
51,
it was.
51.
Actually, Navy may have just got a first down. They're going to measure, though.
The thing with Navy, though, is they can't throw the ball. So if they're down with, no time left, how much time's left?
9 seconds.
In the game?
Yeah, they got the first down. Oh, my gosh, they're going to run a play. I feel like they'll review this, though.
Where are they at, though, on the field?
At the 9-yard line.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Can they put together a 9-yard triple option run?
Yeah, they got no timeouts, so.
Give us a play-by-play, AK, to finish it off.
I'd be very surprised if they don't review it because he got a very generous spot.
Ooh. They're still looking at it?
Yeah, I think they're going to review it. Yeah.
Damn. All right, let's move on to keep us updated on the game, though. Keep us updated. For anyone out there with a Memphis ticket. If you got Memphis plus 14, you got a hella good number, but they might cover they're probably going to cover every number, which is pretty impressive. All right, we got San Jose State versus Toledo. The number here right now is, I believe, 8. It was 8.5 earlier.
I think it's been bet down, Jordan, actually.
Past 8?
Yeah. It's a lot. Mostly 7 everywhere now. Even Circa's got 7.
God damn it. I knew I should have bet 8 the other day. It is 7 everywhere. Jesus Christ. All right, so it's at 7 right now. AK, what's your thoughts on this game here? Toledo versus San Jose State. At Toledo, by the way.
I almost got there on this game. I just didn't. The line even started scaring me off. my first initial thought was, man, Toledo's going to run through San Jose State. Like it really was. Like
No way.
we've kind of Toledo should be 2-0. They're 2-0 against the spread for a reason. They should be 2-0. They should have beat Illinois. They kind of ran it down Illinois' throat. They got a little gimmicky on the play calling in the second half of that game. I know me and you pretty much watched every second of it.
Yep.
I feel like if they would have kept the pedal to the metal, they win that game, outright. They score a touchdown down at their end and don't kick a field goal, they do win it. So I love this Toledo team. I think they're going to run away with the MAC.
Yep.
Excuse
Agreed.
me, kind of exactly what we thought coming into the season. I love their quarterback. He is athletic, man. He feels like he could be a Power 5 quarterback and a pretty successful one. So the line movement throws me off a little bit. San Jose State's got to travel to them. Like I don't understand the live movement, but it definitely scared me off from that. What about you?
Oh, I love San Jose State. I'm all over it. The reason for the line movement is because Toledo is 126 in the country in defensive success rate against the rush. San Jose State 35th in success rate rushing the ball on offense. And you got to remember, San Jose State played two of the best Power 5 teams, two of the top 25 teams in USC and Oregon State. So given that, I think that's why I like San Jose State in this matchup, dude. Like San Jose State has impressed me, to be honest. Like they looked a lot better against both USC and Oregon State than I anticipated. And on the flip side, the MAC has looked so bad, AK. Like just hasn't looked good. And like I love Daquan Finn. I like Toledo, but I'm watching that Illinois Kansas game last week, and I'm just like, I'm watching. I'm like, bro, how did Toledo only score like 20 points against his defense, dude? Like, what the fuck was going on? And obviously, Kansas's offense is probably a little bit better than Toledo's, but I before that game, I wouldn't have said it's that far behind. And I don't know, dude. Like, that game kind of like gave me different opinions on. I agree. Toledo's running away with the MAC, but that's how down I am on the MAC, dude. Like, I'm very down on the MAC this year. It's not a good conference this year. No. You would agree, right?
Oh, 100%. Yes, sir.
I like Buffalo this weekend, though. I did bet them for what it's worth. At +3.
We talked about that on the show I was on before that. A lot of those guys like that play too.
I like them against Liberty Freedom. But yeah, man, in this game here, like at 7, I'm probably not gonna play it because I do think that being at home, San Jose State having to travel. I will say San Jose State traveled pretty well early in the year. Last year, they went into Wyoming and beat the dog shit out of Wyoming in Laramie, which is a very tough place to play. What really changed San Jose State's season last year was when that running back died, kind of just flipped their whole season upside down. But man, I'm actually higher on San Jose State now than I was coming into the season. That's crazy considering they're 1-2. You know what I mean? Like, but they did play pretty well. They did play well against San Jose State and Oregon State. So I'm looking at San Jose State on this play, AK. I think they're going to be able to move the ball, and honestly, the total might be where I go because I think both these defenses are kind of mid. So this could be a very high scoring game, dude. This could be a shootout for sure. I don't know. What's the total at right now? 54? We got 57. Yeah, so that's about right.
Yep, 57.
Yeah, but I could definitely see this being a shootout, man. And there's 6.
Hey, Jordan, Memphis finished it off. I was right. He was short of the first down by like a mile. So when they reviewed it, he was like 2 yards short. It was a piss poor spot. But that's 3-0 for Memphis, baby. So well on our way to 8 wins.
Yep, you only need 5 more. Looking good. Yep. Looking good. Yeah, so I like San Jose State here plus the 7. I actually might play it as long as it stays at a touchdown. You know what? I am gonna play it.
Okay.
My Spartans, baby. We're gonna make that play. What time's that game on Saturday, by the way?
It's a good question.
It is, bro, 4:00 Western, so 7:00 Eastern. Yeah, I like my Spartans here. Like it. Your Vikings are driving down, not your Vikings, but the Vikings are driving down the field here. AK looking for this backdoor minute 55 left. Telling you, after when they scored that touchdown, I was like, they're covering 6.5 for sure, dude. The back door is just so Mima's coming home.
Hey, Jordan, while we got a couple minutes, I've got to ask you a question today.
Yes, sir.
Wyoming going to Texas? You were all over Wyoming first game of the season. I'll be the first one to say that I didn't play that. But I obviously trust your opinion more than I trust many people's in this world. But why are we seeing such a big point difference where we've seen that number open at like 28 and then it got bet all the way up to like 30, 30.5. And now it's back down to like 29 and 29.5. Why is that number? Is Wyoming to play this week?
It could be. I don't like to play Wyoming on the road. So I think they have such a good edge at home, like a good home field advantage. But I mean, if you look at the spot, like this is definitely a letdown spot for Texas, coming off that big win against Alabama. You know, big boys on campus all week. Everyone fucking telling them they're the man. All the frat girl or sorority girls, you know, slobbing their knobs and doing all that stuff. And this is definitely a letdown spot for sure. But at the same time, Andrew Peasley, the quarterback of Wyoming, he fucking sucks, dude. Like, he's not good, bro. The fact they won that game against Texas Tech, I still can't fathom how they won it, dude. Like, it took a lot of personal, like, a lot of Texas Tech kind of beating themselves. But if I were to make a play, it would definitely be Wyoming. I don't have a play on it, though. But it is a spot where, you know, Sarkisian definitely, you know, he was drinking a lot of tequila after Saturday night. We know that. He was probably a little hungover on Sunday for film review, but yeah, man. I mean, you got to agree though. It's definitely, if you play it, it's got to be Wyoming, right?
Got to be. Yep.
Yeah, I just hate playing Wyoming on the road, man. Unless they play like Hawaii or something, then I might look at it. But at Texas, I don't know. Watch them beat Texas at home, dude. After that big win. Oh, that would be something. Do you have any dogs you like this week to win outright?
Well, I've got my best bet, man.
Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Let's go, y'all.
What's your best bet?
Jordan,
Okay.
I really hope this isn't your best bet. So if it is, just interrupt me, and then I want you to finish it. So I'm gonna like John Stockton it for you, and then I want you to Karl Malone it for me. Okay.
All right.
So
Oh, you're going Boston College, aren't you?
No, I'm not. But I did think about that, and I love the fact that you brought that up because I almost got there. I love I actually want to go play it now that you brought it up. But anyways, for my best bet, I'm going to kick us off early for the weekend, Jordan. I'm going to head to Army versus UTSA tomorrow night.
Love it.
Frank Harris remains questionable. Me and you were texting earlier. He couldn't move in the second half. Let's go. Minnesota just scored a touchdown. Let's go.
And it was Hawkinson, so that works for my fantasy team.
All right, excuse me, guys. So anyways, Frank Harris, I think we can agree in his 18th year at UTSA, he is the tie that binds on that team, right? It actually, I think it's his 19th year, excuse me. He's been there for 19 years.
He's been there a long time.
Him not being 100% obviously is not ideal, but UTSA hasn't looked great even with him in quarterback. You know, he had 3 picks in his first game. Army's kind of gotten a ground attack back on. They had a bad spot in week 1 against a tough UNLM, University of Louisiana Monroe defense that actually I think is going to be pretty good this year, right? Terrible spot for them. They got it back on the way, but here's the thing: they've added another element to their attack. They can throw the ball now. They've got a quarterback that can sit back there and throw the ball around last year. So it's not just preparing for the option or the run game. Now you got to prepare for everything. If you go back to that game last year, Army should have beat them last year. So best believe Army's had this game circled to where, we had them on the ropes in overtime last year. Probably should have beat them. We're going to go in there and beat them this year. I think the Cadets want revenge, and I think they get it here, Jordan. The total set in the lower 40s, which if you follow UTSA football at all, lower 40s is a low number for a total. I think points will be at a premium here, man. So give me Army +9.
I like it. I've bet that, but I'm gonna go to a different bet for my best bet, AK. We're going to go in the state I live in, Nevada, but we're going up north to Reno, Nevada. Against Kansas, we're going to take the Nevada Wolfpack plus 28 at home. The reason why I like this 7:30 p.m. game, Kansas went into Reno a couple days. They're going in there a couple days early. I think they fly in tomorrow. Giving those guys a night on the town in Reno. Don't know if that's necessarily a good idea, dude, for college kids. So I like Nevada here plus a 28. I think they cover. Backdoor scenario wide open. Again, with the amount of possessions being cut this year, I just think 28 is just way too many points. And this is really Nevada's like Super Bowl, dude. Like they got Kansas at home. Like this is a big game for them. So give me and this is a Nevada team that played USC. And, you know, given how good USC is, they didn't play them terribly bad. You know, they lost by a lot, but USC does that to a lot of teams. So I like Nevada here, dude. I like Nevada plus a 28. Can't believe I'm going to do this, but yeah. Nevada plus 28, baby. That's where we're at this week.
Hey, we talk about it all the time, Jordan. Sometimes the ugly ones are the best ones.
Yeah, they could be, man. You know,
Fortunately, we're not talking about women. We're just talking about sports betting.
Yeah, you got to cover, dude. And sometimes you just gotta plug your nose and just you know, let the game play out, dude. And that's one of those games. But it's like my favorite bet for NFL this week too. Jets plus 9.5.
Ooh, my goodness, that's ugly. So I was actually on the Jets plus 2.5 Monday, and I was actually in Iceland. In full transparency, this just makes me sound like the biggest degenerate ever and the biggest piece of shit husband in the world. But I took my wife to Iceland for her birthday, so I already had some brownie points, you know, I could work off. So we go to sleep because, of course, we're hours and hours and hours ahead of time out there, right? And so I literally had set my alarm to wake up at it was 1:30 their time so I could watch the game. And, of course, I watched Aaron Rodgers blow out his Achilles and I'm just like, I'm in the nicest hotel in Iceland, the Parliament Hotel. It's the gorgeous brand new hotel in Times Square. And I went and almost just trashed all of Times Square. Like I wanted to get arrested so I didn't have to watch the rest of the game, right? So I fall back asleep and I wake back up in like the second quarter, and I just had this epiphany. I'm like, Zach Wilson is going to have a legacy game, right? And I was wrong about Zach Wilson having a legacy game, but the Jets defense had a legacy game. I had some questions about them coming into the season. Could they replicate their success from last year? I think they're a top 5 defense in the league.
Top 3. Right?
Top 3. Like, you know, they from top to bottom, they are good. They don't quit. They'll bend, but they don't break. And they had Josh Allen rattled.
Oh, dude.
I do think some of it was Josh Allen trying to force the Stephon Diggs. But once that game got close, you could just feel that the Jets were going to win the game.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
in the fourth quarter, like when Josh Allen threw the third interception, I was like, dude, the Jets are going to win this game. Like, there's no way they're not. And, like, they just had all the momentum in the world, dude. And, like that stadium was so deflated, AK, in the first half, dude. And then it just, like, became totally different. But, yeah, I mean, like, Eli Manning in the first quarter before Aaron Rodgers even took the field, Eli Manning is like, you know, Josh Allen, you know, this is the type of defense, a Robert Salah defense, where you just have to take what the defense gives you. And he's like, if he doesn't do that, they're going to lose this game. If he does do it, if he takes what the defense gives him and just throws the checkdowns and stuff, they'll win the game. And, like, he just refuses to fucking, like, make the easy passes, dude. Like, he has to force the issue over and over and over again. But going into the season with the Jets, and, like, you know, Irv and I got into it in our group text and stuff. Like, I was down on the Jets because I don't think their offense was going to be necessarily better than it was last year. Like, yeah, it's going to be better. I didn't think it was going to be, like, that much better to the point where they're going to win 4 more games than last year. Like, that offensive line stinks, dude. And if you watch the first possession with Aaron Rodgers, like, that's the reason why I got hurt. The offensive line sucks, dude. And
what's bad is, if you remember, Dwayne Brown was a Pro Bowl left tackle
a while ago, though. It's been he's been hurt. You know what I mean? And that's the problem, is, like, a lot of their guys, Mekhi Becton, Verja Tucker, like those dudes, like they haven't had a ton of experience because they've been hurt so much. So that was my weakness. That was my concern about the Jets coming into the year, was like their offensive line. Like, can they hold up? Can they sustain themselves? And like they showed in the first drive, no. But now the thing with the Jets is like they can run block. They did that very well, you know. And the Bills can't fucking stop the run. They couldn't stop the run last year, and that has carried over to this year because they did good in pass rushing. They just couldn't fucking stop the run. So now I'm looking.
Brees Hall looked like he was healthy too, man. And I've been high on Brees Hall since he came out of college.
Yeah, he was nice at Iowa State. But my point with the Jets at plus 9.5 against Dallas is like, I feel like it's two overreactions. Like, the market saw Dallas beat the living dog shit out of the Giants, and then they saw Aaron Rodgers go down. So I feel like it's the week 2 in NFL. I love playing these overreaction spots. Like, I'm looking to play the Seahawks this week against the Lions. I'm looking at playing a lot of these dogs that looked like shit in week 1. 7 seconds left for the Vikings. Can they win? Watch there be a pick 6 and you don't cover.
Oh my God, that would be terrible. Don't even bring that up. I still can't believe that Texas Tech did not cover against Oregon.
Dog, that was, oh my goodness.
I'm gonna be honest. That was one of the worst beats I've seen in a
That was the worst beat I've had in a long time, dude. College basketball related, because I've had a ton of those.
At the same time that was happening, though, I did get a great beat and kept my accurate over 3.5 wins alive. If you watch that game, they were down at the end, 21-17, I think was the score.
Yep.
And Morgan State's basically just got to run the clock out. And on a little sweep play, Akron just kind of sandwiches the guy and strips the ball, and they run it back for a scoop and score with like 30 seconds to go. So it was unbelievable.
I mean, dude, to be honest, the MAC's so bad, AK, they might win fucking 4 games in the MAC this year.
Right. Yep.
That is a terrible, terrible fucking conference.
You think 25 points is too much against Kentucky this weekend for Akron?
Fuck, it's tough to say. I mean, I'm not running to bet Kentucky, but Kirk Cousins throwing a Hail Mary from the 10-yard line. From the opposite 10-yard line. Oh my goodness. But plus 6, I told you, bro.
We might as well go out there and try to throw a brick.
I told you in the third quarter, AK, I told you that plus 6, if you got 6, 6.5, 7, you were definitely covering tonight, dude. On the flip side, man.
Holy shit.
What happened?
I can't believe I covered that game.
Oh, dude. I knew in the third quarter, once they scored that touchdown, dude, it was all... They were covering that game for sure. They were definitely covering, but man, great show tonight. Excited football is back for sure, dude. College basketball is coming. It's right around the corner, baby. Yep. AK, pleasure having you on. Army plus 9 is best bet. I also played that as well.
I think Western Kentucky plus 29.5 is really worth a look. Yeah. I honestly do.
I agree with Western Kentucky. I like Nevada plus 28. I also like San Jose State for what it's worth. But yeah, man, excited. Thank you everybody for joining us. Make sure to download Sharps app, SHARPZ. Track your bets, become a better. You can follow other bettors. Use promo code JORD517. It's free to sign up. We appreciate y'all for hanging out with us, and we're looking forward to cashing some tickets this weekend, man. Follow AK on Twitter at Aaron oh my God, AK, why is your fucking AK Sports 90 at AK Sports 90. Follow myself at Jordan Rules TSP. You can follow the podcast at Taproom_sports. Like, subscribe to our YouTube. If you missed any of the show, you can run it back on Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcast. It'll be up very shortly. We appreciate y'all. Thank you for tapping in with us. We'll see y'all later. We are out. Peace.
See you guys. Thanks, Jordan. Good talking to you, buddy.
Yes, sir.